Mark Pope takes his team down to the Lone Star State and loses to the Texas Longhorns. A game, it was a frustrating loss for this basketball team. You felt like you had it with a few minutes left. A late collapse leads you to your sixth SEC loss. You're sitting right at 500 with 6 games left, and you have a must-win game coming up on Wednesday against Vandy. We'll talk about this loss to Texas and preview the second game of the year against Vandy on today's episode of the Wildcats Today Podcast. I'm your host, Andrew Stefaniak, writer over at Kentucky Wildcats on SI, joined as always by Carson Nash. Carson, was a tough, painful loss, and how have we recovered from that on this Tuesday?
Yeah, it took a day or so, but I'm getting over it. I'm starting to realize that you can't take these losses too hard, especially when you're missing some guys. I just, with the injuries, it's been a bad deal of luck. So can't take these losses too hard.
I mean, to me, it feels like the way Andrew Carr is playing, you're in essence playing without 3 starters right now.
Yeah.
Like, really, you know what I mean? Like from when we were beating Duke and Gonzaga. So, I mean, before we get into breaking down this Texas game, and I'll be honest with you, Carson, I think it's almost, and I've gotten to the point, looking at the analytics, looking at metrics, and I almost think you just throw this out. I mean, we're going to break it down, obviously, but none of it matters if we get healthy. This doesn't matter. This isn't our basketball team. We're having to try and find ways to win games in unorthodox ways because we don't have a damn point guard. So, I think the reality here is we're going to break it down, but I think losing stinks. No one should ever be like, heck yeah, we lost. No one, no one's excited about that. But I do think, we're in a spot where we're just playing with a couple of hands tied behind our back right now. And we're trying our best and we're fighting our behinds off. So, I'm proud of the way these guys are playing for sure. But, this was a tough lot. Like this one to me, I think if you win this game, it just really changes up the dynamic of the rest of the season. So this loss hurts. What really, Carson, in this game kind of, what happened, you think, in those last 4 minutes, 3 minutes that really killed us?
It was a couple things. I thought the effort in the last couple minutes on the rebounding end was poor. You saw a bunch of second chance opportunities for guys on Texas there was a putback dunk that killed us. Trey Johnson got a loose ball rebound that was an and one against Amari Williams. That was a big play. Just constant effort problems leading to big buckets by Texas in the last couple minutes of the game, which is not good to see.
Well, that frustrates me even more because it's like you should be at that point where you're like, we're 3 minutes away from winning this game against an underrated basketball team at their place without our starters. We got a top 5 pick dropping 80, and we have a chance to leave here with a win. And I do agree with you. It did feel like there were a little bit of effort problems in those last few minutes. And some, effort means, going at getting those loose balls. And it's not all just running as hard as there's more to effort than just stuff like that. So I agree with you, Carson. I think that was a part of the downfall in this game. I think Amari is playing great. He now has the best 3-point percentage on the team, shooting 50%, 1 of 2.
Amari's our guy right now. Honestly, he is. If you're picking one player of the past couple games that's been the same every game, it's Amari. He's been getting better every single game. I think Amari Williams is finally starting to hit his stride, which is it's good and sad at the same time because you're missing Lamont and Jaxson, so you really don't know what this team is fully yet.
So we're going to take out the Tennessee game because there was some a little bit of foul trouble. He still played around his normal minutes, but normally he's playing.
But when he was on the court in the Tennessee game, we were much, much better than when he was not on the court.
But so, he goes 6 for 6 and 3 in that game, 6 points, 3 rebounds. The last 4 games, if you throw away that Tennessee game, 18 and 12, 3 assists, 1 block, 1 steal, 10-6 to 12-10-10, the triple-double in the loss to Ole Miss. 22 points, 11 rebounds, 3 assists, and a block against Arkansas. He's been incredible, which is great to see because, there was one point when we were healthy and we were begging for Amari Williams to step up, and he's here, which is why I keep telling myself, if this team can get healthy, and I don't believe that will include Kirk Risa, but if this team can get healthy, which means Jaxson Robinson is healthy and Lamont Butler's healthy, when you get to Nashville here in under a month, I do believe this team can make a run in Nashville and in wherever they go for the NCAA tournament. But they do. That's reality. If they don't get healthy, they don't make it out of the first weekend of the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, I don't know. I think you could win 2 games without being healthy. I think you could win the first one and the next one. But without that, I don't know. I mean, you saw, if you would go follow the Twitter down below, we retweeted Evan Maya's statistic today. He's awesome at what he does. But Lamont Butler was top 8 on statistical output this season, which just shows how dominant he has been. And I mean, if you like, think about this. Think about Alabama without Mark Sears, because Mark Sears statistically was lower on the output than Lamont Butler was.
Significantly. He was 16. Lamont's
exactly. 8. So everyone's like, oh, Kentucky's losing games they shouldn't lose. Well, take Mark Sears off Alabama and see what happens. So this is a much bigger loss than what people are telling you.
It is. And that the update from Coach Pope, I feel a little bit better, in all honesty, about Lamont's injury than I do Jackson's. Lamont's, to me, sounds more like pain management. When is he going to be able to manage the pain to play? Sounds like an injury that he's never going to be 100, but it's just going to be pain management. If he's not getting problem is, though, the way
I feel like Pope sounded with Lamont, it sounded like a weekly thing, like a week to week. Jaxson sounds a little more significant.
Has there been I'll tell you this. I'm worried about the word starts with an F and ends with a rupture on that wrist. You know what I mean? And if y'all have heard a diagnosis of what's happened,
starts with an F and ends with a fracture.
But I mean, I haven't heard anything, but I just don't know. I mean, it could be a hairline, little something, but but
that is a shooting wrist. I mean, that's a big deal.
So I do believe we get Jaxson. If I was gonna bet on this, I would say Lamont plays on Saturday against Alabama. I don't think he'll play tomorrow.
I think so too.
I think he's gonna play Saturday. And if not, I feel a lot more confident about next Tuesday, which is Oklahoma, right? I believe Oklahoma. I think Jaxson, you get him back maybe for that LSU Missouri around there. I don't see it being in the next couple of days.
I would hope. I think that's probably what they're shooting for, is that LSU game, and get him a little bit of run in that game, and then let him play full against Missouri, so he's fully back by SEC tournament and good to go by then, hopefully.
So I agree. I mean, do you have any other thoughts from this Texas game? Like, I think that the important conversations about this game are the injuries to our players. I mean, I'm not trying to make.
I know, and it feels so bad to say like that, but that's the case. Like, if we're healthy, do we win that game? Yes, we win by 10 to 15 points. We were much better than they were, other than the injuries, honestly. Now it wasn't good that Tremont Mark went for 30 and Trey Johnson went for 30, but again, you got Travis Perry guarding like Trey Johnson and
guarding a top 5 pick. Like,
that's just not going to work out well.
No.
So
I'm serious. Like, here's my, you ever seen the video of Aaron Rodgers going on the radio and saying, relax, to the Packers fans?
Yeah.
Here's my attempt at that for Kentucky fans. What I want to say to y'all, to Big Bull Nation right now, is that we're going to bleed a little bit over these next 6 games. I'm to the point now, I think that we're going to go 3-3. I think we're going to win tomorrow. I think we're going to beat LSU, and I think we steal one of those other 4 games, whether it's Oklahoma, Missouri, Auburn, or Alabama. I think we steal one. I have a weird feeling about Tuscaloosa on Saturday. We'll get there when we get there, but I think we go 3-3 to finish. I think we finish right at 500 in conference play, 9-9. And I think that we're probably that 8 seed in Nashville. We're probably a 4 seed in the tournament. I think that
we need A&M to beat Mississippi State.
Yes, we do. That's a good point. Mississippi State's 6-6. Like we do have the head-to-head, which matters for seeding, I believe. But
yeah.
So the because we can't catch A&M either. So it's like you'd rather them just beat.
Exactly.
Plus, I bet on them, so I'm in on that too.
But if you want to buy, you're going to need A&M to win.
Yeah, and I do not want to play on Wednesday because that means that I have to go to Nashville on Wednesday, which doesn't sound terrible. But like, what are you doing on Wednesday?
Crappy to our wallets.
Well, touche. But so I guess my message here is, I think it's going to end. I think we're going to finish 500 in conference play. I think that we're going to be a 4 seed in the NCAA tournament. But this team, if you do have a healthy Lamont Butler, a healthy Jaxson Robinson, and as close to possible healthy Andrew Carr, this team, I'm not going to say they're going to win a natty, but I think they could make some noise in the second weekend. For sure.
Yeah. I think fully healthy, we can beat anybody. I mean,
I agree.
It's when you're not fully healthy, you could lose to anybody too.
So, I really do hate, and I know Carson, you feel the same way, sitting here and making these excuses to y'all, but I think that I think the whole fan base has agreed now it's not an excuse anymore. It's just the reality of our situation.
I mean, you're missing your 2 best players. I mean, Lamont Butler and Jaxson Robinson are your 2 best players. They dictate the game more than anyone else. Those are your 2 guys.
So what I will say to Kentucky fans is I think that everybody needs to take a step back and we need to understand what's going on. And I think most believe that we're going to get those 2 guys back and close to healthy when we go on a run. And are we going to win a national championship? Probably not. But is it going to be fun for a few weeks to make this interesting? Sure. Crazy things have happened. Worse teams than us have won national championships. Like, you never know what's going to happen. I wouldn't bet on it. I'm not betting on us to win 9 this year. But, I mean, seriously, I'm just saying get healthy and see what happens. I think you're allowed to be angry about losing. Losing's never fun. You shouldn't be happy about losing. But I think we need to understand that this team is playing with hands tied behind their back. When they get healthy, this team can make a run. They can.
I mean, heck, the veteran UCLA team that played in a play-in game went to the Final Four. So, anything can happen in the tournament.
Yeah, whoever, you can have 5 people get hot from 3 and go run right through that thing. So
that's the thing about us too is like if we get hot, I mean, we can get really hot.
So, I mean, we could sit here and talk about the rebounding margin of this Texas game and all that, but at the end of the day, I don't think we're gonna have to play that many more games without our guys. I think it's almost an irrelevant topic in some ways. I mean, because like, we're not going to have to worry about how to play without Lamont Butler and Jaxson Robinson when Jaxson Robinson and Lamont Butler are on the floor.
Yes. And you can make a statement too, because I know we shot 6 of 24 from 3, 2 of those coming late, by the way. So it was really only like 4. But I mean, with Lamont and Jaxson on the court, you just get so many more open looks. Like you saw how bad Kobe was struggling getting an open shot at the end of the game. I mean, he was just kind of dribbling around, hoping that something would work. But when Lamont's in the game, he gets into the paint and gets set, and Kobe's coming off screens, Jackson's open. Like it just makes the whole flow of the game a lot easier. And on both sides of the ball, makes us a much, much better team.
Yeah. So I put a tweet out yesterday, continuing on this Kobe Brea. So in our 6 SEC victories, Kobe Brea averages 11.7 points per game. In our 6 SEC losses, he averages 6.3 points per game. Saturday was a game, so that is the difference. What is that's almost a full 6 points, pretty much like 5 or whatever. Almost, a full. Which 5 points from Kobe Brea, you win by a point.
That's what I'm saying. It's 82-78 final score. Kobe Brea plays 35 minutes and only has 4 points. All points coming off of free throws.
Yeah, but also by the way,
field goal.
Before I keep talking about Brea, did you see that Ortega 3 covered the spread, the 4.5 spread?
No,
did you know that?
No, I did not.
Everybody that bet Texas minus 4.5 or lost, and everyone that bet Kentucky plus 4.5 won because of that Ortega 3 before the buzzer went off.
I didn't know that. See, I didn't bet spread. I just bet money line.
I did too. I forgot about that. Those. But
feeling really good with 4 minutes left.
I was not in a state to look at the word cash out, but I mean, maybe we should have. Gosh almighty.
Huge shout out to our boy Jackson Hargis, aka Sploosh, for the Burl Brew drinks.
Yeah, Jackson Hargis was in town, and that's a fun person to hang around. Great guy. Love Jackson. Shout out Jackson. Half heart emoji to you. So Kobe Brea, that was a basketball game he had to play better than he did. He played 35 minutes and didn't make a basket. Like, we're talking borderline Tony Snell. The only problem is he's missing 6 shots.
But he only shot 6 times. Like, Ortega shot 18 times. Wouldn't you rather have some of those shots going to Kobe? Like, because Texas defended us well, and you'll see a bunch of teams do this. They go under every screen that Ortega gets. Yeah. Every screen that Ortega gets, they'll go under so he can't drive to the rim. And then everybody else, like Kobe and Travis and Trent, they'll go over the screens and play pressure defense. And then we have to pick up our dribble, reset. Like, you'll see that a lot. So I thought we kind of handled that poorly and forced some things.
I mean, it's simple to me. Kobe Brea, especially if hopefully this is the last game without those 2 guys, but he's got to play good against Vandy. He needed to play good against Texas first to win. I'm not putting it all on Kobe Brea, but I mean, if he gives you 10 points to win this game, I mean, that's right. I'm not putting it all on him. There was lots of factors. We collapsed late, but he's got to play better than that. You know, he's got to. He knows that. Kobe knows that. We needed a better game for him. And
to me, it just seems without Lamont and Jaxson, he just can't get open. Like, he's having a really hard time getting open. So we need to either draw up some new stuff for him. We have to get him involved, though. We know how good of a shooter that dude is. I know he went 0 for 6 from the field and 0 for 4 from 3, but like we always say on here, dude, it's the percentages, right? They'll start the percentage. The percentages will start the percentage if you keep letting them fire them up.
They will. I've always said if you keep shooting enough, eventually it's going to work out.
Eventually it'll go in.
You can't always miss. You might miss a lot, but you're not going to miss every shot. But so I mean, I'll tell you this right now. You want a little spoiler? I'm going to pick Kobe Brea to be my MVP for tomorrow, and I'm going to do it because we need him to do it. You know what I mean? We need him to do it. He needs to play well without these guys on the floor. Here's the problem. And the problem with Kobe Brea, he is great at obviously catching and shooting. He's great at pulling up in transition. And he's great at when a defender blows by, pump faking and shooting, or maybe making wonder. What he is not good at is having the ball in his hands and finding an open jump shot.
Yeah.
You know, he cannot do that well. He can get threes in a lot of ways, but the problem is when you're missing Lamont Butler and Jaxson Robinson, they draw a lot of the attention to defense to where Brea is going to get more good looks. He has to create them on his own. That's not his forte. That's not the player he is. And that's okay because he's really good at what he's really good at when we're missing our players. So we've got to find a way without those guys to get him shots. And I'll tell you this, it's not going to be easy, but we got to find a way. And that means he might need to dribble the ball a little bit and find a way to get some open shots. I'm cool with him just jacking them up. Jack up threes. You know what I mean? He's that good. I don't care. Too. Like, seriously, if you don't have that much airspace, let it fly. I'm cool with it. Like,
hell, go stand 40 feet away from the basket. I'll still trust you.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. So, okay, Carson, let's move on to this Vandy game. Vandy, tomorrow night, 7 o'clock. Yeah, we owe that dude that was clapping.
We owe
there. We wanted to scissor kick him when we were at that game. We owe him one. Hope you're listening. And those frat guys. Those of you that went to the Vandy game and had to walk out past Vandy frat row and get waved goodbye to by Vandy frat guys and say safe travels home. I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. I wouldn't. That was the worst thing that's ever happened to me. Having to walk out and listen to these Vandy frat guys. I'm like, go study. What are you doing? Why are you not studying? Go study.
They couldn't name 2 players on their own team.
No, they couldn't. But so Carson, to me, there was one thing that, and you in that game, you didn't have Andrew Carr, you did have Jaxson and Lamont. There was one thing in that game that stood out to me, Carson. You know what that is?
What?
Turnovers.
Oh,
they turned us over 17 times, and it wasn't always they turned us over. Sometimes it was just kicking the ball. I mean,
it was bad.
Lamont turned over 6 times. That was his. I mean, that was
his first game back, though.
Lamont's.
I'm pretty sure.
I swear that was before we ruled him out. I think it was that game. No, that's what it was. He got hurt against A&M when we won.
So he was probably hurt playing through that game.
He was playing hurt. Let's get this exactly right here. He got hurt against A&M. He played through it against Alabama. And then he played through it against Vandy, and those were both, not incredible. And then they sat him against Tennessee.
Yeah.
So we didn't have him against Tennessee or and then I think, was he back for Arkansas? I can't remember. But I think that's what happened. So, but we turned the ball over 17 times to their 5. They had 14 points off our 17 turnovers. That was the most rebounds weren't terrible. That was the big issue there, was that. So, Carson, how do you not turn the ball over now without point guards?
Yeah, and that was a really uncharacteristic game. We haven't turned it over 17 times. That was probably the first time we turned it over that much the whole season.
Yeah.
I think that was a majority of us just not playing like ourselves. That was a really weird game. But I think, I don't know. I feel like our players are really we're going to have to motion a lot more. I feel like our guys have gotten a little stagnant. Like they're not moving as well because, again, like injuries, right? They're not used to playing with these lineups. It's like you got to learn new things with new guys progressively. Yeah. So moving more on both sides of the ball, just always moving. I feel like you can't be stagnant at any point in the game, and we have been. But I think, I don't know. I really am not too concerned about Vandy. I think that was kind of a flukish game down there. I think we win this one. I really do. We turned it over 17 times. Did they out rebound us in that game?
I believe we out rebounded them.
Oh yeah, we did out rebound. We were down by like 15 before halftime.
Yes, we were. We went on like a 15-0 run. The halftime score, we out rebounded them 43-30. They were ahead 41-26. They were up 14 points at the half, and then we came out and tied it like that.
Yeah, and they hit 12 threes too to our 9. They played really good while we played really poor.
And they've done that at home this year. They're a team that shoots 33% from 3.
And they're statistically way better at home than they are on the road.
Yeah,
and
so
that Edwards guard, you need to – the problem for us right now is defense. We can't guard anybody. And that – I would like to see us kind of maybe go zone, even though they did hit 12 threes on us last time. I just think them creating so much pressure inside, beating our guys off the dribble and getting open looks because of that has been a problem for us recently with our losses. So I think maybe switching something up on the defensive side. I'm not necessarily sure what the best possible route to go there is, but I just find it hard to believe letting Travis Perry guard someone man to man is the best possible outcome.
I just don't know what we're supposed to do.
But see, this is where me and you are like, we can't really know what we're supposed to do because injuries. It really does come down to that.
Yeah. I don't think the one thing that scares me this Vandy game, they've been great at home. They beat Tennessee. They beat us. They gave Auburn hell. They've done it. They've been good. Vandy's good. You know what I mean?
No, they are a good team. I'm not saying they're not a good team.
No, I know. I'm not saying you are, but I'm saying I think there's such a stigma around Vandy that it's Vandy. And in football, the same thing happened. You know what I mean? And it's funny because we would do these things, some of my other jobs in the media, and people keep saying Vandy, Vandy in football, we finally were like, they're just good. They're good.
They've beat us the past 2 times at home.
Yeah, it's not,
which makes me want to jump off a bridge, but
they're not a fluke in these sports right now. Football too. My point is, and so what I'm saying is, they gave Tennessee hell in Knoxville. They're just good, and we have to beat a good teams for it. Now I think we're better than them even shorthanded. I think that's how good we are, and that some might say that's crazy. I think we are better than them shorthanded because I just think we're still better.
I believe we were better than Texas shorthanded. We just kind of threw that game away at the end.
So But what I'm saying is Vandy's a good basketball team. I think they're a tournament team. I think they're darn good unless they collapse in these last 6 games for them. I think they're gonna do something special, which good for good.
The
for
only loss that we've
us.
taken this year that I truly believe was like they're just better than us was the Alabama game.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I don't. Yeah, and we have 8 losses, and that's kind of frustrating.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what would you say before we get out of here? Before we give a score prediction and MVP, Carson, what if you had to sum it up in a spiel? What does Kentucky have to do to win this game tomorrow night?
They've got to find their cojones, as some would like to label them as, because the effort is something that should be there no matter what. And I think that if they play with fire, and Pope got on their ass at the end of that. Did you see how animated he was on the sideline? I haven't seen Pope like that at UK at all. And I don't think I saw him.
What the frick?
Yeah, he was losing it over there as much as he can. But yeah, I think the effort needs to be lively. Rupp Arena needs to be lively. We need to back these guys and
you got to help as much as you can tomorrow.
But this team can still make noise, and people need to rally around that. The team needs to know that. Like, get fired up, guys. Like, we only got a couple weeks left until the real shit starts to hit the fan.
Yeah. So we need to really, back this team tomorrow if you're in Rupp Arena. Sounds like there's going to be a little bit of snow. Get there somehow. I don't know how bad it's going to be. We'll see, but I have no idea. But get there tomorrow because we have to win this game tomorrow. Have to.
One more thing.
And one more thing.
One more thing. So I've heard some things about people being like, oh, we're not even going to make the tournament. That is outlandish. That is completely outlandish. Lenardi didn't even drop us a seed line for losing to Texas. We were still 3 seed. So I think we're pretty much a lock for the NCAA tournament.
Yeah. So
it really just depends on what seed.
Yeah.
At this point.
So you've got to find a way to win tomorrow night at home. And I think it's going to be, I think we're going to win, but I mean, they're going to give us trouble. They're going to give us trouble. So, I think we win, but I think
that's what won them the first game is the effort. I mean, that really, they just out hustled us. They just wanted the game more than we did.
Yeah, no, I agree with you on that. All right, Carson, give me a score prediction and an MVP.
Yeah, I'm going to go, I think we get 87 and I think they get 74. And I'm going to go player of the game is going to be the Mountain Mamba.
Oh, wow.
Little dark horse pick for you.
I like it. I think we're going to win this one. I think it's going to be a little tight. But I think we're going to find a way to close out well and just stretch it a hair at the end of it to where it's going to be a tight game. But I think we're going to win this one 84-75. Boone agrees because he's barking. So I think we're going to win this one by 9 points. I think it can be a tight back and forth game, and we're going to make, like I said, the last second got to stretch it out. And I think that Kobe Brea, and I'm going to say it just because we need him to, is going to be the MVP in this game. So that is my take on it. Carson, any other thoughts before we get out of here today?
No, but it does seem like the real metric to look at when judging this team is if they score over 77 points, we're probably going to win. Just keep an eye on that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you on that. I'm with you. So we're so close to 2,100 subscribers. I think we're like 8 away. So hit that subscribe button. Our next goal is 3,000. I don't know what we're going to do for 3,000. I'll figure that out. Something crazy.
Crazy.
So keep hitting that button. We really appreciate that. Follow our Twitter. It's right down there. Wildcats Today _. We put a lot of funny videos.
Cool stuff. We're starting to go over some stats and stuff. Yeah. I don't know. Some good stuff going on.
So follow there as well. But that's going to do it for today's episode of the Wildcats Today Podcast. Big game coming up. Thanks for stopping in, and we'll see y'all next time right here.